Live from the apocalypse, I am the Lord of the Dan. My associate, King of Keiths, K Diggy. We are here. Talk about the big game here.
Big game.
The XXL Freshman Class of 2020.
Mm-hmm.
It's exciting. Everyone loves the XXL Freshman Class. Do you know why?
Why?
Some people are like me and you and are genuinely interested, and everyone else loves to hate it. And XXL knows. They specifically go for the most annoying covers to make it so you're just like, I hate these kids. They want it.
The trolling.
The trolling is so huge.
Mm-hmm.
So huge. So what was I'm trying to figure out what was okay, so 20, let's talk about it and talk about, because it gets a bad rap, right? I think it gets a bad rap.
And a bad rap in what way?
So people talk smack about it, and people are like, look at these clowns, the old people like, look at their hair, look at what they're wearing or whatever. But I'm not even going to talk about the strongest class. I don't think this is the strongest class.
2020? No, not by any means.
Oh no, I'm talking the one I'm about to point out. I don't think it's the strongest class.
Oh, okay.
But if you look at the effect it's had on music and on the world, it's pretty incredible. 2016. Okay. Do you know who the 2016 freshman class was?
Okay, you want to read it out?
Lil Uzi Vert,
mm-hmm.
Lil Yachty, Kodak Black, Denzel Curry, G Herbo, Dave East, Little Dicky, Anderson .Paak, Designer, and 21 Savage.
That's interesting. Now, what about that class stood out to you?
Like, Lil Uzi Vert is now one of the most important rappers in the world. I think Denzel Curry is probably in that group as well. Anderson .Paak is kind of a cultural phenomenon, right? I mean, he's everywhere.
Yeah. Got a beer commercial now.
Right. Little Dicky is the star of people's favorite FX show.
Yeah.
This is
21 Savage too. I mean, 21 Savage may be the most acclaimed out of the whole class, 2016.
I mean, that's just 2016, and like, that's not even the best class. Like,
no, without a doubt.
Let me see if I can get if they agree with me here. I got a list up.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that we'll probably agree on the best class.
So 2010.
Yep.
Let's just roll with this. And by the way, I don't know if you can see this, but I'm wearing the Freddie Gibbs bandana shirt as proof positive. Like, if somebody's like, the XXL Freshman's useless, I'm like, do you like Freddie Gibbs? Because he never would have broken as big as he did without that push.
Yeah.
J. Cole, Pill, Nipsey Hussle,
mm-hmm.
Freddie Gibbs, Big Sean, Wiz Khalifa, OJ the Juice Man, J-Rock, Fashawn, and Donis.
Is it Fashawn or Fashawn?
Yep, Fashawn. He's probably right.
Fashawn. Fashawn.
Yeah. I mean,
or it could be Fashawn.
I'm terrible at pronouncing things. I don't know.
Adonis.
Love him though. He was great. I was at Rock the Bells once, and the equipment went down. Like, there was rain happening. It was just a mess, right? And the crowd was getting mad, and he went out, Fashawn, and just freestyled off the top for a while.
Wow.
keep the crowd into it. It was just it's a good move. He's a good dude. So neither here nor there. The thing is, yes, there's duds in every freshman class. Like there's no question.
Absolutely.
But it's a snapshot of where things are.
It's a snapshot of the zeitgeist of music at that moment, I would say.
Right. It's where things are. And it's like a literal popularity contest. Like and
Right.
it so it's good to know what is going on,
Yeah.
We can all say that we value like deep and interesting things, but what you put out there matters, right?
Okay.
And what everyone is listening to matters.
Right. Yes, that's a fair point.
You can say the popularity contest isn't the right way to gauge music. There's all kinds of stuff that doesn't get the numbers. It's better. Sure. But every year has a different group of people that are like the top new people your people are listening to. And
Right.
having a record of that is valuable for me.
I agree.
So now that we've justified the damn thing, 2020, this class, Polo G, Chica, Lil Keed, Jack Harlow, 24 Karat Golden, Mulatto, Fivio Foreign, Little TJ, Cowboy, Baby Keem, NLE Choppa, and Rod Wave.
Mm. Mm.
First
Mm.
question.
Yeah.
Going right in. Which of the names do you hate the most?
Hate the most.
Pretty good. Pretty good question.
I mean, for me, it's a tie between Polo G and Little Keed.
Little Keed is very bad.
Yes.
A lot of people don't like mulatto because you shouldn't use the term mulatto.
I mean, yeah, that's a very not explosive, but that's a very strong word for a rapper name. Controversial.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I get it. For me, and because I've been around just way more offensive terms, I'm just not. It rolls off my back. But I totally get people who doesn't. I hate saying cowboy.
I didn't realize it was a pun until you actually said it.
I hate that it's almost cowboy, and it really bugs me on a linguistic saying it level. I hate it, and I'm not gonna lie, it's hurt my relationship to his music.
Cowboy. Yeah, I'm not really like a fan. I mean, some of the names are solid, but none of the names like jump out as creative to me. Like, I look at some of the other classes, like even some of the rappers that didn't make it. Like I'm looking at let's see, let's go to 2019. Tierra Whack, DaBaby, Little Mosey, Roddy Rich, YBN Corday, YK Osiris, Rico Nasty, Gunna, Blueface, Meg The Stallion. Some of those are solid names. Like this class, I was very disappointed with the names. But
I kind of like the name Fivio Foreign. I don't.
That one, yeah, fair.
I kind of like it. I like the Fs. I like the interplay of the F.
Foreign. Yeah, it's something new. It's something like exotic. You know what I mean?
Lil Keed is very bad to say, and it's because he replaced the I with the two E's. You feel the need to pronounce the two E's.
Keed.
So you end up saying Lil Keed and sounding like an idiot.
Oh, so he wanted to say little kid, but he meant little key.
No, I'm just saying. I'm not saying I have no idea about the origins or whatever. But I think he's implying little kid, right? And he just like replaced the I with two E's. It's like, and you're much too young for this, but back when there was video rental stores,
Okay.
I used to have to go in as a kid, uh, and go up to like whoever was working the clerk and just be like, "Do you have Slamylvania 48?" And the guy, just, like, oh my god, these people. And like, it was embarrassing because every wrestling pay per view is embarrassing in the names. Um, that's what some of these names remind me of.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, we're in 2020 now. We're running out of like original names and ideas. You know what I mean? It's getting harder.
Hey,
More
yeah,
creativity is required.
but it's there's I I am really excited about this class.
Okay. Now, what makes you excited about them?
I am, and it might be more talented than last year. It might be because I got no hope for YK Osiris. I got no hope for Little Mosey. Like,
No.
there's some straight up duds in there. Um,
I mean, it's Meg, DaBaby, Tierra, and Roddy Rich. Those are probably,
and Tierra's a question mark. Like,
yeah,
for how much, what's she gonna do? When is she gonna do it? She's a little
right,
unrealized for me because of the 1 minute songs each or whatever.
right.
Uh, Roddy Rich is so boring to me. I don't understand it, but fine,
I mean, the kids love them though.
It doesn't offend me. I'm not mad about it. It's not like you're gonna put it on. I'm gonna be like, this ain't hip hop. I'm just
Right.
gonna. I just don't. It just doesn't move me at all. Um. So, but Megan DeBaby is a very good top heavy thing,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
But I think the top talent here has a lot of potential. A lot of potential.
Okay.
But
It's interesting because when I was doing the preparation for tonight's show, like my gut reaction when I first listened to them was like, oh, this class is awful. But then I had to like get like outside of myself and get outside of my preference and just relax and listen to it with a fresh air. And when I listened to it with a fresh air, they were a little bit more enjoyable, a little bit more tolerable than I originally thought.
and that's 100% what you have to do is take it outside of your own context
Mm-hmm.
and put it within the context of that artist at that time, right?
Yeah.
Um, and it's a good way to start. Um, so that I think I'll start on somebody and in that vein, right?
Okay.
Uh, and I think that would be NLE Choppa.
Okay.
He has a new album called Top Shotta.
Yes. Came out last
And
month. Yeah.
he's a perfect example to me of needing context, right? Because NLE Choppa isn't really moving the meter with what he's talking about.
No.
Like, that's why if you look at the track listing for Top Shotta, it's like Shotta Flow 1, Shotta Flow 3, Shotta Flow 4, right? Um, it's a long album, but he's just kind of blazing through it. But he's 17 years old.
Yeah. I didn't realize that.
17 years old. Was your album good at 17 years old? I've got poetry I can't look at from that stage of the thing. I mean, it's hard. So
I didn't realize he was so young.
He's 17 years old. That puts everything in a different perspective for me, right?
Yeah.
The reason he's got Shot of Flow 1, Shot of Flow 2, Shot of Flow 3, he's engaging his flow. He's discovered his flow.
Mm.
He likes it. He's exploring it.
And it's interesting. I mean, I think so. When you told me the age, I mean, his birthday is November 1st, 2002. So in next week, he's going to turn 18.
Yep.
Happy birthday.
Get some cigarettes.
Mr. Choppa. But it's interesting because I think we'll see the trend as we go through this list or we talk about certain artists. I bet this will be their youngest class.
It's a very young class. It really is.
And I mean, I think that's like a signifier of how accessible hip hop is now. You know what I mean? Like to be 17 and have your own, not your own, but be on the cover of XXL at 17 years old. I mean, that's pretty startling.
Having a buzz, having an album release that is important to people. It's so 3 categories we decided, right?
Okay.
The first is important, right? Check the box. Remember this name. That person is worth checking out, right? Worth keeping in your mind as they release new music. There's fine, which, just okay. And then there's no, like no. And I think without context, you might throw NLE Choppa into the fine or no category.
Right.
I'm going to put him in the important category.
Okay. Now, what is this context that puts him in the important category?
For me, he goes in the important category because his flow is excellent.
For someone that's 17 years old, yes, I agree. Yeah.
His flow is excellent. His voice is incredibly authoritative.
Yeah.
His songs aren't boring.
No, I agree with that. And he's funny. I will say he has a sense of humor as well. The video that we watched was actually very entertaining.
So my mind goes, holy shit, if he's got all those characteristics and an audience, what's he 3 years from now?
Oh.
3 years from now, what is he? Like, I got to check that out. So that's all the important list is. That's not me saying you're going to be a Hall of Famer. That's not me saying I bought the album. That's me saying with all these skills and abilities, I got to watch this grow.
So it's like a prospect. So this is like a 5-star prospect, a 3-star
draft
prospect.
Board. This is our draft board.
Draft board, yeah. Okay, that's a good way to think about it. All right.
So yeah, I'm putting him in that category because I'll be honest, not all these guys are interesting.
I don't think I feel like that's a pretty fair statement to make.
It's not easy to be interesting.
Right.
In terms of being an artist, being on stage, having the crowd looking at you, you can get as deep as you want, but if you're not interesting, no one cares. You have to be able to engage.
Right.
And you have to find a window into that. And it's not easy. So having achieved that, I've seen rappers with charisma grow into lyrics.
You're okay. I agree with that. I agree with you.
I was talking to a friend of mine about another 2010 XXL Freshman, Nipsey Hussle. Friend of mine, we talked and we were like, holy shit, dude, back in the day when Nipsey broke, we were just like, this is a mad rapper. This guy's whatever. He's fine. But he just never stopped. He kept getting better. Everybody loved him. He kept working harder, and his projects just got better and better.
Yeah.
He was undeniable. By the end, he was undeniable.
Great.
And some people have that. Some people can become that. And NLE Choppa's music has momentum.
Yeah. I'd agree with that.
He needs to take advantage of that and keep the momentum going.
Mm-hmm.
So where do you put him? What do you think?
I'm gonna, out of this class, if we're talking about like using the star rating, I feel like there were maybe only 2 or 3 5-star prospects, like who I'm pretty sure will have the potential to grow into superstars. I'd put him in the fine category. I'd put him 3 stars. For me, it's not really like, he's got a good flow, but he's not really saying anything. Like, what are you saying? It's like what we always talk about. What are you saying that I can't? What are you saying, or what are you doing that I can't get from anyone else?
And he might not have that yet, right?
Right.
That identifiable, that uniqueness, but he has all the basic skills to build
Yes.
into that. And so that's and so I totally accept the fine. The benefit of fine versus no. If you
Mm-hmm.
put somebody in that no category and they become your favorite rapper, you gotta feel that shit. You gotta feel that shit. You stood out there and you were like, this guy ain't gonna do it. He ain't gonna make it. And now,
You know who I felt that?
now
Yeah,
you're rocking the t-shirt.
you know who I felt that way about? Like when I first heard Rick Ross, I thought, man, this
Oh
guy
yeah.
is like the worst rapper. Like he was the only rapper I know that would rhyme words, like the same word unironically.
Oh yeah. I mean,
But then like over time, man, he got really good, and it got to a point like I was listening to a song and I was like, damn, like Rick Ross is a pretty good rapper now. I mean, it was just undeniable.
it was like, for me, it was like an arm wrestling match where I wanted to dislike him at some point. I just wanted to, like, I had disliked him for so long. I didn't want to
Right.
give it up, you know,
Right.
and admit that there was something there. But eventually, it was too much. It
Yeah.
was too much. By the time, because I had been hearing the, deeper than rap and the, songs with Drake and all that shit. But my buddy was like, listen to the mixtapes.
Mm.
And once I listened to the mixtapes and heard mixtape Ross, I was like, no, this is it. Like,
Oh.
I'm, you know, I'm giving up on that. So, who do you want to talk about next?
Let's go with Polo G.
And maybe we can transition from Polo G to Rod Wave. I have
Okay.
those two as a diametric thing in my mind.
Okay.
So Polo G is, if you're talking about like 5-star talent, I think Polo G is a 4-star talent.
Yeah. Agreed.
I think he's very good.
Yes.
Now, he's not my flavor, right? Some of his love songs are a bit vanilla for me, the Martin and Gina stuff, and I kind of don't care about it.
Mm-hmm.
But the Die a Legend stuff, where he's getting into like real situations, and
So let's go. So he's 21 years old. His second studio album released this year called The GOAT peaked at number 2 on the US Billboard 200 and included 10 Hot 100 charting singles.
yep. Yeah, no, he's got those details in his lyrics that that are that show a considerate eye. If, does that make sense? Like I can't
Okay.
remember which song it was, but I think it was on the Goat, the newest one, where he starts talking in depth about I think like a woman getting molested and its effect that it had on her relationships going forward, and
Mm.
uh, like how dangerous neighborhoods are, and he'll just get into real detail,
Mm-hmm.
and it becomes very vivid.
Yeah. I mean,
Did you find
he's
that in
one
the
of
experience, or
yeah. I mean, of the class, he was one of the. I shouldn't say the few rappers, but he was one of the rappers who was actually rapping about something. Like I felt like when I listened, like he wasn't just concerned, because I think a lot of rapping nowadays is the melodic flow, like who has the most engaging melodic flow, and it's really, there's really not an emphasis on what you're saying.
yeah,
And I felt like Polo G, there was he was actually saying something. You know
yeah.
what I mean?
There's a difference between writing talent and performing talent.
Okay.
If we were doing like organizing this list in terms of writing talent, he'd be pretty high up there.
Right.
In terms of being able to write a song, uh, and like consistently make them good,
Mm-hmm.
he would be up there. Because if you're a Polo G fan, you don't have much to feel bad about,
Right. Agreed.
right? Die a Legend is great. Uh, the Goat is great. Like this guy is there really isn't a bunch of Polo G songs you'll be like, is that a Polo G song? He doesn't throw weird stuff into the mix that doesn't fit him.
Right.
On my XXL Freshman thing, I posted the documentary about him, 13-minute documentary.
Right.
He was very like soft spoken and quiet, but he believes in himself a lot.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, there's real pain in that music,
Yeah.
and it's pain that means something. He's doing it for a purpose. He's doing it to to give you vision to it.
Right.
So I respect that a lot. I mean, like I said, not my cup of tea, just personally in terms of, I think the beat selection is a bit meh.
Mm.
I think the melodic stuff is he's going to need to figure it out. There's times on Die a Legend where his flow kind of goes out of whack,
Right.
where he's kind of speeding up too fast and then he slows down into a singing thing, and it's just herky jerky. I think he got it a little more in tune on the Goat, but there's kinks that need to be worked out.
Yeah. And I mean, he's 21 years old, so there's plenty of time.
But he's one of those all tool players, right? Of like,
Yeah.
this guy could be great, but we know he can do stuff.
Yeah.
You know, even if he doesn't become great, he's going to be good.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm into that. The Rod Wave.
Okay.
What did you think about Rod Wave?
Yeah, there, I mean, as you said, you and I both talked about it, there are a lot of similarities to Kevin Gates, uh, particularly in the flow, but it was a little bit like a PG, maybe a PG-13 Kevin Gates. So I mean, he wasn't bad, but I'd just rather go with Kevin Gates.
There is, yes, the joke I made to you was that Rod Wave is as if Ruben Studdard was trying to become Kevin Gates. Shack slam. It was a Shack dunk slam. Boom. But he's because it's very sing-songy. It's very pop oriented.
Yeah.
If you stop listening to him and just listen to the music, you'll hear like the Adele piano, and then you start to hear the 808, like you start to hear the trap 808, like, and it's just like, man, fuck you, dude. Like,
he's mind you. I gotta go with the age again. He's 21 years old.
21 years old. 21 years old.
Second album.
Yep.
So first album, Ghetto Gospel, which came out last year.
Yep.
Peaked at number 10 on the U.S. Billboard 200. His second album, Pray for Love, released this year, peaked at number 2 on the Billboard 200.
And Rod Wave gets criticized a lot for being very depressing. Right?
Right.
People are like, why is he so sad all the time? And Rod Wave is always like, that's the point. I'm bringing to light the pain in our lives. I was talking to my wife about this stuff. Not Rod Wave, but like,
I was good.
not Rod Wave, but my poor wife doesn't need me venting about it. But what I was saying, sometimes there's a movie that's so serious that I sit back and I go, this isn't real.
Yeah.
Because somebody would crack a joke. Right? Somebody would pass gas accidentally. Like, life is full of this shit, right? People being weird and goofy and like human, you know?
Right.
And like the art we love is full of confliction, right?
Right.
Like, think of Ice Cube's It Was a Good Day, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's laying out why it was a good day, but the menace of it not being a good day is always with the song.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the two sides are at war, right? And he puts them at war so you can see that. There's no duality to Rod Wave. There's no contradictory dimensions. I'm so sad.
You know what? But I just feel like, do you think that that's just him, or do you think that that's just the place that hip hop's in right now? Because there's another rapper, like, I won't mention his name because he's deceased, but every time like I hear one of his songs, it's just sappy. Like I if it comes on the radio, like I change the station, or I sing it along mockingly.
But the thing is, so this is why I wanted to put him against Polo G. Polo G has a lot of sad content.
Mm-hmm.
But there's dimension, right? There's dimension to it. There's families, neighborhoods, friend groups, right? Like
right.
Dissolving relationships. There's, movement to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's happy. He goes through these different phases. Rod Wave, it feels very performative.
Okay.
Back when I was in school, like I'm very old. Forgive me. Most of my days were spent, like fighting with and against masculinity. Just like either to be cool enough and masculine enough just to not get beat up,
right,
or to maybe talk to someone I desired. Like, there was all these expectations. No one knew anything about toxic masculinity or any of that stuff. So there'd always be one guy who would sit with like the most attractive girl and start like getting broken up. And the girl would be like, oh my God. And we'd all be looking at each other like, You fucking cheater! You can't do that. We all made this an agreement to not be vulnerable, and it's killing us. But we're doing it together. You can't leave us out here alone. Because we were like, that kid's not really sad. He's performing, so the hot girl will hang out with him. And that reared its ugly head in the poetry scene many a time. There was a lot of like, I'm sad but sweet, like poems that were put on stage. Rod Wave, that's the vibe. Is like, I am performatively sad so that you can come to me, right?
Okay. All right. I'll roll with it.
Is this? I mean, am I going too far here? Should I give this slack? Do I need to roll this back?
No, that's interesting. Yeah, I do agree. Like anytime someone's too something, it can feel like a performance. Like, either too sad, too happy, too loud, too, what's the opposite of loud? Too quiet. It can feel like, that he recognizes that that's part of his brand. That's what people want to hear. So when they buy a Rod Wave, they're looking to be put in that mental space. You know what I mean? So I see what I see what you're saying.
And a bunch of these, because the world just moves faster than it used to.
Mm-hmm.
All these freshmen have songs with important people together, right?
Right.
So making the Kevin Gates comparison, like Kevin Gates did a song with Rod Wave for his first album.
Okay.
Titanic. And he did another one called Cuban Links. And I remember when I first, I was listening to Rod Wave and I was thinking, this is some Kevin Gates this is like PG Kevin Gates. Mm-hmm. And then Kevin Gates came on and I was like, oh shit, there's the real version of this, because Kevin Gates is a dangerous man.
Yeah.
When Kevin Gates gets on the microphone, I am genuinely scared. I don't know what he's going to say. I don't know if it's going to be the verse of the year or if it's going to haunt me for the rest of my days.
I was gonna say, I'll never forget. I saw him live it was at a festival in New York. I saw him live. And first of all, he came out. There were two things I loved about him. He came out in like flip-flops.
Oh, that's fantastic.
With socks.
That is so great.
And then he came out and he told so it was like it was the Roots Picnic in New York. So it was like a family festival, you know what I mean? Like, so in front of me, I had this, it was like two parents and their kids. None of them, maybe two or three kids. One of them was 5 or 6. And then the other two were in their probably 11, 12, 13 range. And Kevin Gates came out and he had the most explicit, first of all, he performed the most explicit song I've ever heard live. I won't go into detail about what he was describing, but what we'll say is he was describing a tender moment that he was having with a female woman. And I'll never forget just the parents sitting in front of me, just shocked, you know what I mean? Scared, frozen. They didn't know exactly what to do. There's really no way to prepare for Kevin Gates.
And that's the Wheezy Award. That's that, of because Wheezy did that too, where he would just haunt, you'd be like, fucking Harriet Tubman, fuck, but you always wanted to hear what he was going to do next, right? Like
Yeah.
it never shut you off from him. If Kevin Gates drops something tomorrow, I'm listening to it. Like there's no
Absolutely.
question. I want that ride again.
Yep.
But Wave isn't going to give me that, dude.
No.
He needs to surprise me because he's a no for me.
Yeah.
Where do you put him?
I'd put him. Yeah, I mean, I'd put him no too, because as I said, if you're going to be 5-star, I need to have something that I can't get from anyone else come from you.
So is he in the no category or the fine
Yeah.
category? No.
And my person, I mean, he had the #2 album this year, but for me personally, he's a no.
I'm with you. So who else? Where else do you want to go here?
Oh, you can go. You can. Who would you like to?
Let's knock out some people.
Okay.
Fivio Foreign is pretty easy to do. I like Fivio Foreign.
Great name.
Here's my perspective on him. Okay.
Okay.
He's a big deal in the Brooklyn drill scene, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think he was supposed to be the face of it.
No, without a doubt, no.
Pop Smoke was supposed to be the face of it, and he was supposed to be the #2 guy, right?
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Yes.
He was supposed to be the kind of secondary player to Pop Smoke, like as that.
And that's not a knock on him. That's not a knock.
No, man, no. Pop Smoke was incredibly talented.
Yes.
But think of it like a Biggie and Jay-Z thing, right? Where like Fivio, I think, was supposed to grow into it.
Right.
And Pop Smoke was supposed to kind of take the original lead here.
Absolutely.
But Pop Smoke has died, and Fivio is left being the voice of it, but he doesn't always have a lot to say.
Right. Yeah. That's a good point. I mean, it's funny because a couple weeks ago, was the first time I've heard of Fivio Foreign. I believe the song Zoo York came on.
Yeah.
So like I was at a park somewhere and they were playing basketball and the song came on and I asked one of the kids, I was like, who is this? And he goes, Fivio Foreign. I was like, oh, okay. And I made like a little mental check note to check that out. But I totally agree. I mean, if you hear that song, Pop Smoke was absolutely the highlight on that song, Zoo York. And so I think you're right. I mean, I think Pop Smoke was supposed to be the face of the New York, what do you want to call it, drill movement.
Drill.
With that,
the
New York sound, that New York drill sound movement. And Fivio, he was supposed to be, like the support, like you said, like maybe the Lloyd Banks of it to Pop Smoke's 50. But with Pop's passing, I mean, he's kind of thrust into that role now as the face of it. But I don't know if he can, if he'll be able to step into Pop Smoke's shoes.
I hear that. I mean, to me, so in order to be a superstar in drill, you need to have the voice.
Yes.
All the drill stars have amazing deliveries. The genre's built on it, right?
Yeah.
So King Louie in Chicago, all these people have fantastic deliveries. Pop Smoke, Fivio has a very powerful delivery. That's why he can make songs like Big Drip, uh, and just really stretch out. And it's why he's such a positive additive
Hmm.
to a song. When I saw his name listed on Spicy, the Nas
Yep.
song,
Yep.
I was so excited. I was like, oh shit. Like, Fabio kills hooks. His voice is great. He's
Right.
going to handle a lot of the dirty work that Nas doesn't want to do. So that's awesome, you know? But his own solo stuff, I don't know that there's anything that stands out and that I need.
Right.
He's on the borderline of fine and important for me.
He's a solid find for me.
I think you're right. I'm going to put him in fine. I think it wouldn't surprise me if he became important,
Right. Yeah, I agree with
but
that.
I don't see it really.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
When I put him next to other people, even on this list, I don't see it.
I agree.
Yep. Yep. Uh, so let's go little TJ because he's also a New York entity.
Hmm. And we'll get it. I mean, reading some of these birthdays. Little TJ born April 30th, 2001.
Woo! Yeah, man. Yo,
Yeah.
I was in Korea in a military uniform, and that dude was being cool. Little TJ. I first heard State of Emergency, which is 7 songs that he
Hmm.
put out.
Hmm.
And I liked it. I said, this is pretty good. This guy's pretty good. And then I heard True to Myself, which is the newest album,
Yep.
which is conservatively 6,000 songs, maybe 10,000 songs, maybe.
Let's see.
I
It
may still be
is
listening to it for the
17,
first time.
17 songs. Yeah.
It's a long album. And I was like, cash me out. Like, get me out of here. Uh, from a texture perspective, his voice is very pinched and whiny. And as a father, I hear the voice and I look up and I go, what do you need? What do you need me to do? What? What? Um, little TJ brings that out of me. Is it? What did you think about the delivery, performance delivery wise?
You're right. There's like okay, I'm not gonna go needling, but I'll say there's like a frantic energy to the delivery. Which is, I mean, which is okay, which is interesting. I don't have kids, so I find it somewhat interesting. I mean, it's just the content. He wasn't really saying anything.
And for my money, like I said, the delivery worked fine over 7 songs.
Mm-hmm.
I came out like I got what I wanted. Thank you very much. This is good. But over a longer period, I couldn't hang with it. It was, and part of it was the format for the songs was very much the same.
Okay.
And little TJ is like Polo G as an example. Polo G is very rhythmic. He is engaging this kind of sing the raps thing,
Mm-hmm.
but he's rapping. You know, little
Right.
TJ is leaning so hard to the singing piece that the songs don't really have good definition.
Hmm. Right. And I mean, I feel like that's a common problem with hip hop. Like, because I wanted to ask you this a little bit earlier in the show.
Mhm.
What would you say is like the current, how would you describe the current state of mainstream hip hop? Where are we at this moment in 2020? Where is hip hop at?
I mean, I think I'm very happy with where hip hop is because there's a lot of choices. In terms of
Yes.
mainstream hip hop,
Yeah.
there are people like hustling angles, branding,
Okay. Now, what do you mean by that?
and there are
Branding.
people who are genuinely hurting. Like I was talking about this with a friend of mine that like there's so many rappers who when they rap about depressing shit, I believe them and I'm worried for them. And that was the whole Juice World thing, right? That's
Yeah.
currently that's Wi-Fi's funeral. If you've heard of Wi-Fi's funeral, horrifically depressing. Hope he's doing okay. I believe his lyrics, and I hope he's all right. The There's a lot of drug addiction.
Yeah.
There's a lot of depression. There's a lot of problems. You know that that younger people are more keyed in on that side of it, right? Um, and there are some people who are branding themselves and being, hustling basically, but like more of a marketing degree hustle. Uh, and there are some people who are genuinely in trouble,
Mm.
and it's hard to feel out where people are coming from.
Hmm. Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does. I mean, because for me, like, just a lot of the people on this list, they're just interchangeable to me. Like, I can't really tell the difference between a lot of the rapper. I'm not on this list. A lot of rappers in this class, like content wise. Like when I look at them, when I watch the videos, obviously I can see their brand, their personality at play. But like if you put their song, if I had to listen to their songs like on a playlist without seeing their faces, I would not be able to distinguish
So if that's the
most of
case,
them.
let's do some quick hits. Let's move through and knock some of those people out so that we can talk about the people we like. Um,
Right.
so little TJ, I'm gonna put him in the fine category. I've
Yeah,
heard him
he's
be
fine.
okay. I've heard him
Yeah.
be okay. He could be okay again. Cool. Let me throw you a different name, Lil Keed.
Uh, he's just he. Honestly, I'm gonna have to go with no.
Trapped in Cleveland 3, wasn't that his album?
Let's see. Yes, Trapped on Cleveland 3.
And the thing is, like, he's obviously a post Young Thug guy, but he did a song with Young Thug, which he should not have done at this point in his career. He needs to grow before he does that. Like, I don't think people understand that you're like, you know, I'm here with my idol, yeah, but you're new and he's good.
Yeah.
So Young Thug makes him look kind of silly on that song. Like, um, he's got like, he's trying to be in that kind of ATL weirdo cadence,
Right.
but it's kind of it's uh it's a brand, right?
Yes.
I am in this school of guy, right? If you like Young Thug, you'll also like Lil Keed. But there isn't anything there.
Right.
There isn't anything there. And if you were like, what's so weird about Little Keed? I'd be like, maybe his hair? But there's nothing else, right? Like, this music's not weird.
No.
It's nothing.
No.
Background music, dude.
So I mean, so when I say no, I mean, like, do I think we will hear Little Keed will be a name in 2 years from this date? I would say probably no.
I'm with you. Well, I mean, and I don't. He may, but it won't be the same iteration of this dude. It won't be.
Right.
He'll be a different dude. Cowboy. I'm going a strong no.
No.
One of my
Yeah.
strongest. Really is.
I mean, I don't even remember what song. Yeah, I vaguely remember listening to his song, and I just skimmed through it. So it's a no for me.
So what was it was Long Live the Kings. Wasn't there a Wild Boy thing there?
Yes. Wild Boy EP.
Yeah.
Long Live the Kings.
To me, Cowboy is like. So I was thinking about this when I was listening to him. I was like, this dude is Omarion. This dude is like Pretty Ricky, like stuff. And I was like, but there is no such thing as those artists anymore.
No.
Right? Those guys are out of the market.
Yeah.
So in the early 2000s, he would have been, right? Like in a white tank top in the rain.
I'd agree.
With shiny, like Eddie Murphy raw pants on, you know?
Okay. No.
It would have been like Eddie Murphy raw pants, white tank top, looking up at the sky, rain comes down on him. You know what I'm talking about? You've seen this video.
Everything with the raw. You lost me at the raw pants, but yeah, I know.
Delirious.
Definitely the tank tops. The tank tops were early 2000. Definitely.
So that's where this guy naturally fits into.
Yeah.
Him posturing as a rapper is ludicrous. This is obviously not what he wants to do. This isn't me being like, you can't do this and you're not good.
Right.
Look, do whatever you want, man. Do whatever you want. I don't care, bro. Like, I'm just saying, from listening to you, it sounds like you want to be over there and you're over here.
Yeah.
Go over there.
Yeah.
Make R&B, dog. Like, have fun.
Yeah.
Be you. This rap, it ain't you. It ain't.
Yeah.
So I put him in the no. He's a very strong no.
Yep.
One of my favorites. A real fascinating 24 karat golden.
Okay. I actually liked him. I liked him. I loved the video.
City of Angels? City of Angels?
City of Angels, yes. And then he's got the song Mood. Love that Mood song. Mood song. That's a big right now. So I mean this kid, he's I'd say he's a 4-star for me.
Can I tell you the ultimate strength of 24 karat golden? Because he's not saying much, right?
Right.
But one of the things I said when I was talking about Polo G, art is embarrassing. Never forget that. Art is embarrassing. It's embarrassing to do. It's embarrassing to watch. It's embarrassing. It takes brave people to embarrass themselves to create art.
Oh.
Think of a stand-up comedian going on stage and gutting themselves, bad relationships, all that. Think of how embarrassing it was. Like Richard Pryor, did you ever see Live at the Sunset Strip?
No, not the full. I think I've seen parts of it.
Live at the Sunset Strip was the special where he explained the crack addiction, getting arrested for the crack addiction. But I don't know if you've heard that apparently, and it's legendary, it's a very important special. He spent some time before the special testing it out for audiences. And he ate shit for like a week.
Wow.
They were just like, I hate this. This sucks. Fuck off. And then he went and did the special and nailed it. Art is incredibly embarrassing. 24 karat golden doesn't get embarrassed. He doesn't. If he City of Angels is a stupid pop punk song.
Right.
It's so embarrassing, and it's embarrassing that I like it. But I fucking love that song. Yeah. And I put it on, and my wife was bopping around. He doesn't have that thing where he gets embarrassed.
Right.
It allows him to make songs like Valentino, where his delivery goes nuts. And he's just like, Valentino, and he's just, it's not ever getting embarrassed is kind of a superpower.
Yeah.
And he's got that, man. And dropped out of college, it's 8 songs, and it's fun as hell.
Yeah.
So but does all that make him important? What do you think?
When I put people in the 4-star, 5-star, 4-star category, important category, that means they have the potential. I see them having the potential, because this kid, his birthday is November 13th, 2000. He's 19.
Yep.
I see, like, am I fascinated? Am I interested to see what he produces at 22, 23? Absolutely.
All right. I will go along with you based on his simple fact of these 12 people, this dirty dozen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think any of them have a catchier song than City of Angels.
I mean, I have someone specifically in mind, but yeah, this is top 2, top 3 of it. Absolutely.
So that distinction puts you in the important category. Yeah. If you can hit that perfectly, shit. You know, maybe he's like the Robert Ory of the shit, and he can just come in and hit the shit. Like,
I'm interested. I'm interested to see where he progresses, where he goes.
I'll let you, man. So we've done. Ooh, we're getting into my favorites. Give me one of your favorites. Let's just do that.
We'll go.
We've ripped through the embarrassing people, right? We've gone through all that stuff.
You know, we'll go with. Let's go with Mulatto.
Oh yeah, staunchly in the important category for me, and it was listening to the other projects that did it. Queen of the South, which is the big debut album.
Yep.
It's very A&R'd. It's very like tinkered.
Right.
You know, if you listen to Big Lotto or Hit the Lotto, both of them are kind of punchy, short, 7 songs, ton of energy, very Southern. I think she like sell you on it.
Okay.
Sell you. As a boxing fan, I love the top boxers in the world. Sure. I love some Mayweathers, some Mosleys. Yeah. But the sport doesn't work unless you have that granite-chinned, hard-nosed, big puncher who doesn't give a fuck about anybody. Isn't scared of anyone, never gets intimidated, signs any fight you put in front of him.
Right.
Always believes in themselves. Like, can't knock him down. You know, that kind of boxer keeps the sport going
Mm-hmm.
because that boxer tests your Mosleys,
Right.
tests your Pacquiaos. That's a benchmark, right?
It's good. Right.
She,
Okay.
she's that kind of talent.
As in the one that tests other talent.
She is the granite chinned, hard punching boxer with the like 15-year career. She's built to rap.
Okay.
She raps her ass off. Her flow is crazy. Um, she's got an identity, straight up. She doesn't. She's not really going to flip her style in a bunch of interesting ways,
Right.
right? She's not going to give you a pimp a butterfly. She's going to straight up do this.
Okay.
And she'll join the ranks of, people that I loved who did this.
Wow. That's a bold statement.
Who's the lady? I gotta look this up. But there's lots of examples of especially women rappers who have been in this substrata, had long careers and just killed it. Not Trina, but I'm thinking of somebody else. Jackie O. Jackie O.
Okay.
Like I could see her as like another era's Jackie O.
You know, and I like that. Not every artist, has to be the one that shakes the world. You know what I mean? Not every artist on, in this class needs to have the potential to be like a superstar or anything like that.
Well, that's the thing is in boxing, the granite chinned, hard punching journeyman does get to be a superstar every once in a while. Every once in a while, they put him against Amir Khan, and Amir Khan is supposed to be the next big guy, and he's got incredible hand speed, and he's managed by Freddie Roach, and his chin is made of toilet paper. And when he gets hit, he goes through the friggin' ropes.
Huh.
And that journeyman gets to hold their hands up and go, champion. Because, like, I used to have this joke about I'm sports referencing right now, about the Steelers, that the Steelers only win the title when everybody else fails, when all the other main contenders slip up.
It's a good point.
Because the Steelers are so consistent in how they play.
Right.
That they're never that great. They're never that bad. They're just the Steelers.
Yeah.
But if Peyton Manning slips up, screws up, chokes, yeah, they'll beat him. Run right through that.
Okay.
So, yeah. So I think she's only like 21, right?
Yeah, I believe. Let me get her. She is December 22nd, 1998. She's 21 years old.
At 21 years old, she's a better rapper than Cardi B was at 21 years old.
Yeah.
It's a crowded market.
You're right.
She's stepping into a crowded market, but bring a lunchbox, man. She's gonna work.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a long night.
I mean, I don't like the name because do you feel like there are some rapper names do you feel like there are some rappers, I should say, that have been held back by their name, the rap name that they've chosen?
There's no question. There's no question. And sometimes you can't step out of it. a New York mixtape gentleman named Uncle Murda, and he tried to flip it and maybe I'm Uncle M. No, it's not going to work.
Oh,
So some people really get hamstrung by it. They really do. I don't think that'll be the case. Somebody said she should just change her name to Big Lotto, and that's it. It's problem solved.
right. Yeah,
I'm
I
fine
just
with
don't see. I just can't see. I just can't see like a rapper named Mulatto being like long lasting. You know what I mean? Like
it. Yep.
as in mainstream.
She's good, man. And I think some of the people at the top maybe are skilled, but were considered very skilled in an environment that wasn't this packed.
Right.
So, like, is Mulatto better than Saweetie? Not now, but maybe in a bit,
Right.
right?
Yes. She's got trajectory. Yeah.
Trajectory. That's a great way of saying it. So you want to let's go Jack Harlow.
Ooh, yeah. I was impressed with this kid. This was the kid who I feel like this was the kid who I felt like he's my 5-star prospect in this class.
Ooh, I like it. So which projects did you listen to?
I really only listened to the singles. I didn't listen to.
Oh, wow.
I didn't even get into his album yet.
Cool. He's got a lot of projects and they're interesting. Was it Loose? Loose is the one I'd recommend. I really like Loose. I listen to a lot of Jack Harlow. It's fun to listen to Jack Harlow. Like
Mm-hmm.
it, what I realized when I dove into it is like, holy shit, this kid is doing Drake.
Drake in what way?
Oh, he's doing the Drake we like, though.
And which Drake do we like?
He's doing the DJ Khaled single Drake.
Ooh, yes.
Right?
That's a good way. That's a good way to put it. Yes.
That's the Drake he's doing. He's like in this, you know how there's some people who are like Chance when Chance came out, it was like, hey, did you love Kanye? Do you not love him now? Well, you're in for a good deal. This is gonna be your Kanye, right? Jack Harlow is kind of doing that with Drake a little bit, where he's like, I'm doing the Drake era that we all fell in love with.
Now I really want to check his projects out.
You really should. I mean, I really liked Sweet Action because a lot of white rappers spend a lot of time either apologizing or explaining or becoming defensive about being a white rapper. And it's cumbersome. It's cumbersome.
Yeah.
This is like, hey, what am I gonna do? And sometimes it just absolutely derails what they're doing. Who was the dude? Who's the dude who recently retired?
Logic.
People were mad at him for being a white rapper. He took it, complained, talked about race, and then he was like, the story broke that he's not white, that he's actually biracial. And people were like, why didn't you tell us you were biracial? Like, you were calling me white. I didn't want to make this worse. And it totally messed up the trajectory of his music as he started having to talk about race, and not everyone is built for that.
Right.
He really just should have been rapping. And at the end of the day, when he wasn't a white rapper, and everybody just had to admit they just didn't like the fucking guy. Like, He hasn't done anything wrong. He didn't, he's got no cases pending. This guy is like just living his life, and he raps his ass off. He's not like popular because of any weird shit he did.
Right.
He's
He's
a
a good
rapper.
rapper. Absolutely.
If you're annoyed by him, just own that shit. So it totally derails the career. Harlow has none of that shit. Harlow on Sweet Action, he has weird songs, man. He has What's Poppin' is great.
Ooh. That was the song that broke me because I heard What's Poppin' a couple months ago on the radio. And I mean, first of all, I mean, I knew it was probably a white rapper, but the fact that how polished he was, I could hear every word he was saying. Is very polished. Like the flow was very in pocket. There was some funny moments as well. There was a lot of humor to it. Like I thought the kid was I thought he was at least 25, 26. The way he's rapping.
He's got a lot of albums.
Ooh,
18,
let's see.
Loose, Sweet Action. There's another one that I listened to. He's got at least 4 projects that you can listen to.
So his first album, Extra Credit, his first mixtape, Extra Credit, came out in 2011. So let's see, he's 22 now. 2011 was 9 years ago.
Yeah.
Wait. What does that make him? 13? 13?
He's like 22 right now or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So his first project came out 13, 14.
And that's the thing is this dude, like,
wow.
That's why he sounds so slick. That's why he sounds so. But you know who the comparison is? I'm going to be stuck in sports comparisons. He's Luka.
Wow.
He's Luka. Luka came into the league like 18, 19 years old, and he was hitting people with weird old veteran moves, right? Like foot movement Ginobili kind of moves that people were like, what the fuck is this? And he'd been playing overseas for a long time.
Wow, I did not.
Playing overseas, and he's got tricks, right? He's got tricks. He's got the step back. He's got all these different things he can do. Harlow's kind of like that. He's been rapping for a long time. He can rap with anybody, and he can make jokes. He can brag. He can do a lot of things. He's got the worst hair in hip hop, to be honest with you. It's insane, and I think I put a poll up that was like, how much of what people dislike about Jack Harlow is this hair? Like, seriously. No, nobody voted, but it's fine. I think he's definitely important. Clearly in the important category.
Yep.
Clearly somebody to watch because he's from Kentucky, a white rapper from Kentucky.
Shelbyville, Kentucky.
That's an interesting thing. And he's got more swag than we've seen from a white rapper in a while.
Yeah.
Even do you remember when you first thought Eminem was kind of corny? When did you identify that Eminem was like not actually cool?
Maybe his third album in.
Maybe, but there was a point where it was like, he's still wearing tracksuits? Is he okay? Why is he always wearing tracksuits? Like, it was.
But I mean, the difference being, and this kind of ties back to the point I was making earlier about how hip hop is more accessible now.
Right.
Like, if Eminem came into he broke when he was like maybe 29, 28. so he came in a little bit later. Jack Harlow has been releasing mixtapes all the way through his teens.
Yep.
So I feel like if Eminem was a rapper in today's times, he would probably have broke a little bit sooner because he would have had more control over his own career. He wouldn't have needed a label to break him. And he probably would have been a little bit more comfortable in his own skin. You know what I mean? So
yeah, 100%.
But I mean, this kid. I mean, it's remarkable. Like you said, I think the Luka Doncic comparison is very apt. I mean, it's remarkable how polished he is at such a young age.
And it's not like, his subject matter will grow as he grows. I think he's got, a fairly interesting ear, like for beats, and he's grown a little bit, and his swagger's grown.
Yep.
I think his subject matter will too, but he's got all these moves, man. His handle is insane. So there's two more left, and I think both of them are in the very important category for me.
Okay.
Chica is the best writer of this group.
Absolutely.
Full stop. Like
100%.
And the crazy part is if you go on Bandcamp and look up Chica, she's got a spoken word EP from 2017. It's just poetry.
Full bloom of poetry EP.
Yep. And so she's gone from that to this. Like, that's pretty cool.
I mean, so what really sold me on her was, have you seen the Tiny Desk?
Oh yeah.
Of her?
Oh yeah.
That was the moment. Like, that's when it clicked for me.
And she's smart, man. She's smart.
Yeah.
She broke with that, and she knew she did. That was what broke her. And when that Tiny Desk exploded and there was a huge buzz, she immediately followed it by releasing her EP, her album, whatever, Industry Games, where she did all those songs.
Yeah.
She specifically hit up NPR and was like, this is my audience, basically.
Yeah.
This audience is going to like what I do. And then when she blew that audience up, she dropped the thing, and it took off. Every Chica song is about something.
Yes. Yep.
It's fully fleshed out. And Industry Games is very interesting. I like it a lot more on the second listen than I did the first listen. On the first listen, there were songs I thought were cheesy, like Crown and maybe Song for You, that were just very like, I'm in my emotional zone right now. But listening to it again, it's very smart.
And how old is she? 23 years old. 23. From Montgomery, Alabama.
So what I was talking to a different friend a while ago, and he said, you know where I think the South is going to go next? I said, what? Well, I think there's going to be a lot of gospel. I think you'll start to see the gospel influence in people.
Oh.
The South can do that in a way the other regions can't.
Right.
And I was like, that's interesting. And when I listened to Chica, I really thought about that. I thought about, like, isn't the core sound of Chica gospel and neo soul?
Yeah. I mean, of this freshman class of 12, she was the only rapper who I think theoretically could do, not theoretically, she's the only rapper that could pull off a Tiny Desk. Maybe Jack.
I'll take it a step further. Further. She's the only rapper on this list who I would want to do a full album with Madlib.
Oof.
If you were saying one person from the freshman 2020 class gets to do an album with Madlib, who is it? Chica.
Yeah.
No question.
Agreed. Yeah.
But her pen is strong.
Yes.
And there's a part, the interesting part was Designer. Do you remember
The
this
rapper
song?
designer or what?
No, the song Designer.
Oh, designer. Okay. No, which
There's
was that? Was that
it-
on the Tiny Desk?
It's on Industry Games.
Okay.
There's a part in the middle of Designer. And it's it's a very clever concept of like, I don't want any fake love. I want it Designer.
Mm-hmm.
I want the name brand shit, right?
Right.
There's a really good flip of that. But in the middle of it, they slow down and sludge her voice, and she just flosses. She sounds like a Griselda signee.
Oh.
She's very good, and she can go a lot of different places. I really like Balencis.
Yeah, that was one of my favorites.
I just think she is going to be very important for a while.
Yeah.
Because people need that talent. Like when people are looking for ghostwriters, they will call her.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
And you can tell by the interludes between songs on a Tiny Desk, you can tell that she has like a very engaging personality.
Yes. Yes.
And so I mean, that's an important, for me, like if I can laugh with you between the songs, that lets me know that you're a legitimate artist. You know what I mean? Like this is someone that I'll be able to vibe with.
Now, so yes, she's 5 stars. She's an incredible talent. I'm assuming you're putting her in that category as well.
Yes. Yes.
The last one, this is maybe going to be weird to say. Baby Keem might be my favorite.
Okay. Now,
and my relationship with him started before the XXL Freshman cover. Before that class was announced. Rap Radar had an interview with Drake last year. And I was interested. I was like, he's going to shit on Pusha T. This will be fun. And he did. But when they asked him his favorite album that year, he said, Die for My Bitch, Baby Keem. And I said, wow, that's an interesting name for an album. And I gotta check that out. Who is this? You know, like I was a little mad that Drake was ahead of me.
Well, listen, Drake has good taste. I'll give him credit. He has good taste.
So I'm looking up this Die for My Bitch, and I'm just like, man, this is fucking interesting. This guy's nuts. Like, and the album just grew on me and grew on me and grew on me, and a bunch of the different songs became my alarm because they're just so jarring. And the superpower, the Baby Keem superpower, on this list, he is truly an innovator. Truly an innovator.
In what way?
One of the few people on this list you can't find a comp for.
Okay.
Jack Harlow, Drake, Lil Key, Young Thug, right? We Cowboy Omarion or whatever. Rod Wave, Kevin Gates. You know, we did that. We played that game the whole time. Find me anybody that sounds like Baby Keem.
You know who produced, and it's interesting because I'm looking him up now. You know who produced his first 2 albums?
No.
Or his first 2 mixtapes, right? Cardo.
Oh yeah, Cardo on the beat. Yeah.
And you know what? I think, and this is another thing that I noticed. Like most of these rappers on this list are working with a diverse amount of producers, as it should. But I think there's something to be said by the one-to-one relationship with producer and rappers.
Yep.
I think, and like, I'll make a statement, I'll make a hot take, and you tell me if you agree or disagree. I think it's very difficult for a rapper, if a rapper doesn't have an important producer, it's very difficult for him to reach certain levels in the hip hop, I guess, hip hop hierarchy.
Well, and beyond producer, right? Because I don't want to put too fine a point on that position. But if an artist doesn't define their sound, they've got real problems, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you listen to Die for My Bitch, you'll hear a million different kinds of sounds. Mosh Pit, Honest, it's all these songs are so fucking different. He just released one, Hooligan, that's really weird. He's got a really unique thing, and it has to do with his delivery. It has to do with his content. His delivery, he puts weird spaces in between words.
Okay.
Just listen to it again. You've heard Honest, right?
I probably have. Just
listen to the spacing that he puts between these words. It's just off. It's off, specifically off, and in a way that's his.
Okay. I'm just reading his stuff now. Apparently, so his cousin is Kendrick Lamar, is his cousin, apparently, which I didn't know. But
That's very
yeah,
cool.
For someone, so he's 19. He's been on the Black Panther project, J Rock's Redemption, Schoolboy Q's Crash Talk, and then he had a song on the Lion King, the GIF
Let me
soundtrack.
play a little bit of the last song. Apologies.
Yeah.
Said, baby, don't worry, I'm way too numb to apologize. And we both felt sorry sometimes. It's okay to feel sorry sometimes. And my mama told me keep distance, cause all you do is wreck my mind. And we both feel sorry sometimes. It's okay to feel sorry sometimes. We all feel sorry sometimes. We shouldn't feel sorry sometimes.
So, and yeah, you probably heard Honest. Let me see.
Yes.
So you can tell from those two songs, totally different cadence, right? Like in terms of speed, in terms of, and he figured it out. He figured out the metrics of that space. And the content is very wounded, and it's very, there's a sadness there. He's got issues with how he talks about women. Certainly, there's no question about that. But he's young, but he's totally unique, totally unique. And Drake was right. I mean, that's something you want to plant your flag in and say, I'm watching that guy.
Right. I mean, if it's got Drake's stamp of approval, yeah, I'm totally for it. I put him in. I'll have to check out the Die for My B, but I mean,
and I'm not saying that I love every song, because he's the kind of artist who takes big swings in weird directions.
Mm-hmm.
So he has fails, but he's always grabbing for the weirdest shit. He's always trying to make something that people haven't made.
And I mean, and first of all, he's got too many connections to fail as well. I mean, if Kendrick Lamar is your cousin, you're tied in with that whole TDE, as well as Cardo, who is very underrated in my opinion.
Cardo's got an ear, man. Cardo has found
absolutely,
people.
For years.
Yeah, no, so keep an eye on Baby Keem, keep an eye on Chica, keep an eye on Polo G, keep an eye on Jack Harlow. Let's see, how many do we actually really like on this list? Polo G, Chica, Jack Harlow.
Yep.
For me, Mulatto, Baby Keem.
Yep.
I like NLE Choppa.
I'll go with third. For me, a third of the class. A third of the class is.
24 Karat Golden. For me, it might be half. It might be half of the class.
24
It's in the positive, right? Which is pretty friggin' good. Pretty friggin' good. You're always gonna have some people who just have songs that are popping or whatever.
Right.
But yes. So, do you have anything else on the freshman class?
No. I mean, I think, as I said, I think it's promising. You're right. So I'm going through. Yeah, I mean, I would say 5 or 6. Well, we'll go 6. Because I do like Fivio Foreign as well. I mean, so, I mean, 6 out of 12 is pretty. I mean, that's a pretty solid.
Yeah.
Solid group.
I can't say it's been like that every year.
No.
You can make fun of this group, but 2 years later, you're gonna be pretending you didn't. Recommendation corner. In order to, I always say when I'm digging deep into this kind of music, which is very pop friendly music, I needed something to counter it. So I needed underground grit and weirdness. 96 Mentality by Zilla Rocca. Philly MC. Excellent album, excellent dude, fun stuff. Also, Crime Apple. Jaguar on Palisade. So, and the allure there is to really, Jaguar on Palisade, there's just no hooks. It's just, Crime Apple's just going nuts. He's just rapping his ass off. And I needed some fucking tough ass rap. There's just a lot of sad robot stuff.
That's fair.
So yeah, I was happy about that, and yeah, pumped to have the interview up. Maybe next week some salsa to celebrate the Nico Is interview. I don't know if you've had a chance to read it. Everybody should. It's a good time. It's a good time. But yeah, exciting things may be happening in the future. Who knows? Everybody, be safe. Watch it.